I think we've figured it all out.
I feel empowered.
Okay.
I'm going to go network.
Who would have thought this would have turned into a networking conversation? My goodness.
Never thought we'd ever have a networking.
It's always a surprise,
episode.
Mike, whenever we sit down and start chatting. Yep. Welcome to the Marketing Team of One podcast, where we have conversations about the issues one-person marketing teams face when trying to meet their goals with limited time and budgets. Now here's your hosts, Eric and Mike.
Eric, today,
I
think we need to talk about how to get help. Acknowledging you need help and getting help.
Yeah, I like that idea. You know, it's interesting. I got a LinkedIn message from one of our fans, it brought a tear to my eye. I was very touched by this, and they connected with me on LinkedIn and exhibited a lot of frustration over the fact that they were a marketing team of one.
Yep.
They did have somebody else helping them, but they were overwhelmed and they were wondering. We always talk about, well, get help. You know, it's easy for us sitting up here on our couch, just dictating to the world how it should work. But the real reality of it is it's hard to find somebody who can help you. And a couple of the things that come into mind are, first, what do I need help with, right?
Identifying what might be the highest leverage help that you could get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one thing is, okay, I need help. Now I need to kind of filter down what do I need help with? But the hardest thing is that trust factor.
Yeah.
Right? We could talk about it all the time. And it really touched me because I could sense in this person's comments and questions back to me, how do we go about finding somebody that we trust? And the problem is that you can't do that quickly. And there's been different ways that we've done this. You and I have both gone out and gotten help for projects that we've worked on. We work with a lot of partners, some freelancers and some others. So I'd like to just go over the things that we've gone through to help vet and build that trust and then hand over responsibilities, because we have a lot of different things going on. And I know that you just recently had to do this actually for some of the things around websites on your side of things. So I'd love to talk about that. Let's start with you. Can we start with you first, as far as like when you go about looking for somebody to help you with tasks? First, you've identified what those tasks are, and you don't just have this giant bucket. You've got a very fixed set of requirements.
I think bringing in someone who new is tough for a lot of reasons. Like when I've done it, sometimes it's really hard to just acknowledge the problem, acknowledge that I need the help, right? And so with that might also have a tinge of the trust, like how can I trust somebody else to do this piece? And so how do you build up that trust with somebody that's new is something that I my inclination is, this is painful, I need help. I just want to dump everything off, but I don't think that's the right way to approach it.
Well, a lot of times we get too far into it, and then all of a sudden we're like, you're drowning. And it's like, when you're drowning is not when you start to look for this stuff.
Yes.
You really need to kind of make a plan around finding resources and getting to know who can help you and at what level they can help you too, because our instincts are to just throw everything out there and hope somebody can help us with something. Right?
Totally. And I think what we found is if we're more proactive about it and we look to and we try and establish, like almost audit everything that we need to do.
Yep.
Right. And then try and strategically find the right fit. Then you know who to go and try and build relationships with.
It becomes a part of our job description as to finding those resources.
Yes.
In our quote downtime, whatever that means, and kind of having that collection of help available.
But I mean, we identify them all, but then there's I still wouldn't want to throw something big to an untrusted or someone I haven't worked with.
Right.
I think in the instance you said, like me trying to find somebody new, like I'm thinking back to, this thing goes back probably 2 years now. Like I had one project that was a perfect project to almost, it's a vetting process, right?
Yeah.
Like give a smallish project, see what it's like to work with them, see how easy it is. Were there any friction points? Did you have, I think that sometimes just does your communication style match their communication style and everything. I think that's a big thing. And then not seeing it as like a marriage, it's more like a date. And then, kind of like dating. And as time goes on, bigger engagements, bigger things. And then you have, that's how you build that trust with that partner.
So I'm gonna back up a little bit and talk a little bit about where to find those partners, because I think that's something that I've tried to work on my challenges when I've come around to this. And what I've ended up finding it more and more, getting back to the trust issue, is meeting people in person and getting to know people in real life and understanding their situation, their life, their proclivities, what they are great at, what their strengths and weaknesses are, what they present as those issues, and try to give them small challenges as testers. So they might be projects that I'm working on myself sometimes, but I might just call them or get to know them. But one thing that I would recommend is to get involved a little bit with your local creative community.
Yeah.
And see if there's people here in Sacramento. We have the Capital Creative Alliance, which brings together a lot of different creative people, a lot of designers, a lot of videographers and photographers. And so there's a deep well, copywriters too. There's a deep well of people that I can pull from that I can call and see if they can help me. Outside of that, there's professional groups that you can get involved in. I know that there's LinkedIn groups you can get involved in. We're involved in a few different. We have coaches. We have those types of relationships that we work with on a pretty regular basis that also then expands our network and gets us familiar with a lot of different types of people as well. Plus, you tend to make friendships in those opportunities, and it's always fun to work with your friends, right? Definitely. So, and you can do this at work. You don't have to just carve out time outside of work to do this. Like, talk to your management and leadership and say, hey, I'd really like to start building a lot more professional skills, networking, getting to know more people, figuring out how they fix these problems that we have here consistently, and maybe find some resources that way.
I think that's been really effective for us. In both I'm thinking of two very specific examples where we actually joined a group. It's almost like a cohort around around training, like us developing our own skills to improve. But a key component of both of those things was the community of other people in there.
Yeah,
and there's such a great thing that happens with that community because you build trust with someone you come to meet through the community or something. And then they start having networks of people to where you could just quickly ask somebody like, hey, do you have a video guy?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I know 3 of them. And this one, have you talked to so-and-so? They are great. So it kind of, it doesn't feel as daunting as doing web searches or something to try and find a videographer in your area. There is a fast track to trust in that because you have this you have trust in this one individual, you trust their taste, and that if they work good with them, they would be great for us. And it's huge.
It's a massive thing that so many other industries rely on, and it's always interesting to go into networking opportunities, especially when they're outlined as networking opportunities, because everybody in there is not there to just make friends. Obviously, you want to make friends and be nice and have fun while you're doing it, but everybody is there with an intent to, and it may feel, this is a hard thing for, I think, maybe especially creative people. I'm not really sure, but it's not genuine. It's not this natural, organic thing. It's this created environment where I'm supposed to be this person and I'm helping and looking for other people that I can hire and utilize and bring into my commerce. And it may feel artificial in a weird way, but honestly, everybody else is in that situation too. And it makes it so much easier to just go up to, quote, strangers and start talking to them and saying, here's what I can do. What do you do? How can we work together? Or do you know somebody who can help me with this problem or whatever problem like that? And it's the strangest thing, us being in marketing and most of our viewers in marketing as well. Marketing is everywhere. And so many people you meet may not be, quote, marketing, but they have ties to marketing somehow or communication or writing or anything like that. So there seems to be always, when you open up your reality to see who's out there, it's surprising to see who kind of appears in your dashboard, you know.
I know it's daunting. I mean, for me personally, like going to a networking event and like meeting new people, that's not my strong suit. But I think that there's something for introverts too, right? Like, I think that's where like the community, like the online communities type thing, if you can build a little bit of a relationship, or you can like see, especially for if you're active on these things, that people can get to know you a lot more and get a good feel for who you are. And so as an introvert, I might not be the one actually like being very forthcoming with all the information on here, but I see the people who are, and I build a connection. It's kind of like, this is almost the reverse of what we're talking about. We're trying to say how freelancers could be seen, have better visibility, but as someone seeking out freelancers, that you can build a connection that way. I've been a big fan of those kind of professional groups that you can be a part of.
I always feel like I walk away a smarter person after a lot of those engagements, you know. Getting even further outside that universe, how do I meet those people? Obviously, if you're looking for design help, there's platforms like Dribbble. Sometimes people even say like Etsy or some of those online platforms that are a little bit more general worldwide, even LinkedIn a little bit. You can find some stuff, obviously, Instagram. Behance is a good one. But that's where that's where you might find the right help. But then it's up to you to kind of cultivate the relationship and build in that trust element. That doesn't exist on those platforms. And that's what's
I think
hard.
It's really hard to kind of, because you could spend a lot of time like vetting and understanding it, especially with design elements where it's primarily visual. I think a good designer could present themselves really, really well.
Exactly.
But it won't indicate what it's like to work with them or how responsive they are or anything like that, or if they truly understand your needs, you know. So that's where it's a little harder and fishing in those pools, you know.
It's hard because, especially like, let's say I'm going to go to some award-winning designer. They might be wonderful at design, but they might not have the capacity, and they might not be able to help you. And you might waste a lot of time trying to figure that out, or working through a relationship dynamic that might not be, you know, fruitful for what you're looking for either. So, but then the next universe outside of that, which I'm not really going to recommend too much, but I'm just going to put out there, is the Fiverr / what do we want to call that?
Upwork, 99 Designs.
99 Designs. Yeah. Yes, there's plenty of resources out there. There have been times we've experimented with that, just to be perfectly transparent, but it's nothing that we really feel comfortable going back to, or like, oh yeah, that's the solution. That's great.
That one seems it's very hard. I think, I mean, of them, you could spend a lot of time looking at portfolios, and you might make it closer, but still there's so much you just don't know. And you can't know until you work on it.
Get what you pay for a little bit, you know. It's like, hey, I'll do 10 logos for $50. Like, okay, I don't know that I want a $50 logo. And like, that's going to look like probably 6,000 other logos out there because no time was real spent figuring things out.
I think with those design marketplaces, I'd call them, and everything, I think if you really want to try it out and everything, I would not put something high profile. I would try something very small, like, hey, here's a sales sheet we did before. Here's a new one. Here's the copy. Design it and get it back to me and make sure that it stays on brand and everything, and vet it there, like a small little test. And then if it totally goes off the rails, it's not a big enough project that it's probably taken you out of the flow of things. Or if it totally fails, it wouldn't be that hard for you to pick up the pieces and do it yourself again. But like, try a little test and see what works. And then, with places like 99 Designs or something like that, they're so cheap. Like, maybe you give the same assignment to multiple people.
That's a good idea. Happens. Yeah. I think we've tried that actually, where we tested out with a few. Yeah. It's a little bit more expensive, but
but it's just tough. I mean, ultimately, I think back to what you talked about is like getting there, building a network, and like the network is really what's key. And if you can build the network and build a stable of trusted sources for certain things, you build those partnerships, and then that's where a lot of the friction goes away. And you just know, oh, I can trust that person to give me some video. Call them up. I got a video again. Here we go.
I'm just going to iterate a story that I heard yesterday while I was at coffee networking with another wonderful individual from here, kind of a local legend. But he gave an example of a campaign that they were hired for back in 2020. That's all I'll say. That's as specific as I'll get. And it was hundreds of millions of dollars to put this whole thing together. And it was a big deal that was way beyond the scale of his agency that he was running. And the strength and the success of that program that came out of that whole effort that he put together really relied a lot on his network
that he built before that.
He had built before that, being this kind of local legend, maybe not even local, but like kind of legendary around the whole state, was able to quickly put together, double the size of his team, execute on so many different elements that were not super familiar to him exactly, but he knew the right people to put in place to take care of that stuff. So I'm talking about a huge scale project, but think of that in terms of how that can apply to your small scale project. It does take time. You have to invest in those relationships. It is something that even if you can carve out an hour and a half or 2 hours a week to try to just reach out to people, build those real relationships, start to build the trust, invest in those, they will start to pay dividends, especially if it's something where you've got constant pressure to perform on things. Like you said, put some of those low stakes jobs in front of them. Here's this, replicate it with this template. Again, this goes back to what we've talked about before with brand guidelines, having a brand kit, having something that is, send them to a website, send them a PDF. Here's all the rules and regulations about working with us and our brand. Could be even words and copy.
Yeah.
Use that as a template along with some source files and see if you can get some performance out of start building that network of people. And it's probably a low risk investment. Hopefully you're not, don't go out and spend thousands and thousands of dollars on this stuff right away. But definitely you got to start testing the waters to help.
Yeah. I think a lot of it can feel daunting though too. Like, I've got all this busy job and then I got to spend time. You're talking about getting away from my desk to network but I like to think of it. There's a saying we have all the time. I love to say this is like, well, that's a problem for future me.
Yeah.
I think it's
future
kind
Mike.
of flip that on its head. Right. And like, yes, it is more work right now, but you're doing future you a favor by putting in the work now, by building that out. And so there's always going to be problems for future you, but like if you can eliminate some of them and do your future you some favors too, it might not pay dividends right away, but the practice and building that network and that all those connections will help streamline things in the future.
And it might not be one person. It might be a group of people. It might be 2 or 3, or it might be a studio. Let's say like maybe Page Design Group. That's, we do that a lot for our clients. We're that on-call, off-site art department, as we've used to say. That's kind of the way we function with a lot of our firms and clients that we work with is we're kind of there at the ready when they need us. We've built up trust. We've got a system in place to handle what they want. They know the dynamic of how to work with us. Oh, they're going to need this. They're going to want to know this. They're going to want to see a deadline, ... Here's, and we've kind of built in to all of these relationships, that dynamic, which leads to success over and over and over again over decades.
So you've got your stable of people.
Yeah.
Your horses.
My stable of horses. Yeah. Yeah. As an example, like videographers.
Yeah.
We don't have in-house videography, but we get the call all the time. We promote it all the time as something that's critical to a communication plan. We have like 3 or 4 different videographers that we've worked with, and they change out. It's a stable of videographers, speaking of horses. And they change depending on what the project requires. We know what their specialties are. Maybe they are large production team of 5, or this is just 2 people with, sound and a camera, and they can be much more mobile, quick, a little bit more affordable. So you should never stop building the network. And in a way, you need to think of your job. And I think that's something that, as both you and I have gone through in turning into more design leadership kind of roles as what we play here, is we're more building, we're like the coach or the manager of the team, where a lot of our job is to build those teams and to continue to bring in the new talent and help teach them. And this not just applies with staff, but also freelancers and other people that we bring into our group. I think we've figured it all out.
I feel empowered.
Okay.
I'm going to go network.
Who would have thought this would have turned into a networking conversation? My goodness.
Never thought we'd ever have a networking.
It's always a surprise,
episode.
Mike, whenever we sit down and start chatting.
Yep. It's like driving with a blindfold on. You never know where you're going to end up.
But exciting nonetheless, right?
Depends on where you are. If you're outside the car, maybe not as much.
If you're walking your dog across the street, it's a little more dangerous. But let's just say we hope this helps you. I won't mention any names, but thanks again for sending in that comment. We feel you. We're with you. Please send in more questions, comments, whatever you'd like. LinkedIn, you can ping us on there. Go to Marketing Team of One, all spelled out, not the number one, ONE. Somebody got confused with that the other day when I said that. Marketing Team of One, the number one. And I'm like, well, you spell out the number one. So marketingteamof1.com.
Yeah.
All right.
Fantastic. Thanks, Eric. This has been very helpful.
Appreciate it, Mike.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in. For more information and other episodes, subscribe to the Marketing Team of One podcast on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify podcast networks. You can also chat with us on the r/Marketing Team of One subreddit or visit marketingteamof1.com to learn more.